Cardboard is my favourite thing to use with the gel plate recently, and this video is all about using it in a creative way to make some stamping plates. In the first project we'll be doing a reduction print, so we'll be taking away parts of the cardboard to make a stamp to use on the gel plate, and in the second project we're going to be adding textures to a piece of thick cardboard to make a collograph plate. For today's project you'll need some card, you'll need a spray bottle with water inside, you'll also need a box cutter and a craft knife if you have it, as well as some scissors and a glue gun and plenty of glue. I'm going to just make it into kind of the size of my gel plate that I'm using today. I'm just eyeballing, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out some shapes, but I'm just going to cut into the card like this. Now leaves, I love leaves because they're so easy to cut out. You can do any shape you like. Shall we do some squares as well, just to mix it up? I'll do some squares that are this way, like tumbling squares, and more leaves down here, smaller this time. Okay, and some leaves here, and a leaf here, and a square here. Alright, so I'm not going to do it too detailed, but it's just so that you can get the idea of what I'm doing. And this is where I'm going to spray, okay, just like before. And then just let it, you can see it soaking already. I don't want it to be soaking, so I'm doing the same as before, just dabbing off. I also don't want my work surface to be that wet. Okay, so I'm just going to let that do its magic and come back in a minute. The idea is that I'm now going to pick up the card. I'm looking for the wet card first of all, because that will be the easiest to remove. It's almost soaked all the way through. It should be easy to remove. If it's a bit rough underneath, I don't mind. But it's almost soaked all the way through the shape, so it should be wet through to the back. There you go. You can see maybe these ones probably need a little more water because they're bigger shapes. This one's ready. And these ones might need a bit more of a spray. And just be a bit patient. Looking for clean lines. I don't care about it being rough inside because it's quite interesting, but definitely need, if you want clean lines, you need to be a bit patient. Right, I think that's better than it was, so let's see if it works. There we go. Oh, it's so cool. I mean, obviously, I would spend more time thinking about my design. I'm just showing you a technique today. Oh, that one is not cut all the way through. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now we're going to let that dry for 10-20 minutes or so that it's not wet at all, because it will just fail when you're printing. So you need to just be patient and just let it dry. So now it's time to do this one. It's completely dry now, and you can see they're quite sharp, those shapes. So we're going to use Napthol Red Deep and Azo Yellow Medium if we need to pull it as a ghost print. We'll use the yellow. Okay, it's a beautiful red. Alright, so we've got completely covered. The edge has got some... Sometimes when you don't clean your plate, you end up with little bits of paint around the edges, dry paint. And there we go. We're going to put it on. It's bent a bit, so I'm going to make sure that I apply pressure all over without wiggling. And there we go. There we go. This is nice on its own anyway, but I'm going to wait for it to dry, I think, because it's quite pink on the background. I'm going to let it dry and pull it with the yellow. Okay, I think that's probably ready. Test it. No, it's not. It's still wet. So I have to wait quite a while, I think. What would happen if I started to roll the yellow over now is I would end up making a terrible mess and make a kind of orangey colour everywhere. I wouldn't be able to see as much definition on the print, so I'm waiting until everything's dry. Sometimes this red does take a little longer, I don't know why. See if it's dry yet. No, it's still wet, see? So it's taking, unless it's got a little bit humid in here, it's possible that the weather has changed a little bit. Okay, so let's, and now it's dry. Okay, oh, still a bit wet. It's unusual, so wet. Well, I'm going to show you what will happen anyway. And it will mix and it will be not as cool, and then I'll do it again with a different colour. You see it's orange, it's going to orange. Not as cool as it could be, but it might be kind of grungy and nice, so let's see. See, a lot of red came off on my roller, which means it's not going to be as crisp. Okay, so we'll give it a good few minutes. Okay, it's been drying and let's see what happened. Oh, very cool. Actually, I quite like the orange. It's quite nice. And it's picked up some of the blue from before, which is really lovely. I like that. I'm going to show you another colour so that you can see how clear you can make this. This time I'm going to be using Payne's Grey to make a print. This is probably my favourite colour of all time. Okay, so it does run quite dry though. I don't know why, but it does. Alright, so we're going to print. Give it a good press. Oh. And I'm going to print straight away onto here. Should be able to transfer it straight away. And hopefully what I can see is we're going to get some nice rough texture, which is really nice. You can already see it coming through. And there you go. You may have noticed that I've got my glue gun, my glue gun's been warming up, and that's because the next stamp I'm going to make, I actually kept all these bits from before because that's going to save me a job, basically. These were the bits that I cut off the combs earlier. I'm going to use a bigger piece of card just because it gives me some purchase to make a stamp. I'm going to design my stamp on this. Actually, underneath this one, if you do the spraying, you can get like a really nice honeycomb. I'm not going to do that today, but I can show you in a future video. My glue gun's warming up, and I'm going to cut some shapes. Okay, I might do some textured ones, and I might do some smooth ones and see what happens. So let's do some stripes, and I might do, just planning it out, some triangles, and this is just because I had these already. But again, it could be anything, it could be circles, anything. In fact, let's put a circle on there. Let's just put it's kind of an oval. You can draw on the back of your shapes if you want to. Let's take that off. Put this here. Okay. It's okay, it's fine. Yeah, I might do a circle here as well, like a semicircle kind of shape coming off the edge. Okay, fine. Again, I would, if I was doing a print on my own, in my own time and not for a video, I would make this a little bit more accurate by drawing it out first. And then all you need to do is just remember where you put your shapes. This is going to be working quite intuitively. I'm going to glue my shapes onto this. This is my stamp block. If you want to, you can do it on the back like this. Without touching. Make it a bit crooked. Straight is boring, like that. Just going to make it a little bit crooked. And this one can come maybe like this actually, so it's a bit off. Quite like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put some of these shapes on. And I didn't really plan where I was going to put everything. I just sort of worked out I'll do a different side of this, so we'll see if it makes a difference. Okay, right, last one. I don't need these extra edges, so I'm going to trim them off just because it's just easier. There you go. And there's your stamp. A little bonus tip is you can actually add some glue patterns if you want to. If it might not pick up because the glue is a bit lower, And I'm going to leave that just to set up for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to print with it. I think we'll do the phthalo first, and hopefully I'll be able to print directly without doing a 2-colour print, and then I'll do a ghost print. But let's see how it goes. You never know with gel printing. Pretty much it's like natural dyeing also. You just don't know what results you're going to get, and that's okay. I'm going to print it on, and just put a little bit of pressure, and let's see. There we go. Very cool. And then you can see that some of the glue actually did make contact with the gel plate, so it means that we're going to get a glue texture as well. Happy about that? Okay, so let's just do this. Print. And there we go. Pretty perfect. I love the glue. Very cool. So now there's a bit of a ghost print, but not that much. Actually, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to do some titanium white to pull it, because it's so pale that I think the turquoise blue will swamp the texture. So let's have a look. Give it a few minutes. When I'm printing on my own, if you're wondering about waiting time, I'm usually printing 3 or 4 plates at once, just because I want to keep going and I can be more efficient. Because I invested in a set of gel plates because I teach workshops. I wouldn't, if I was doing it on my own without workshops, I wouldn't have more than 1 gel plate. But I have several in different sizes and shapes as well. So let's see what this one is going to do. Ah, yeah, that was a good choice to do white. And there we go. These blobs here are where I applied the paint, so it's more white there. If you want to, you can prime you can have another gel plate, or you can have a piece of acrylic and you can prime your roller first if you want a smoother look. Okay, so that is how you use a stamp. Thanks for watching today. I hope you found that useful. And in the next video, I hope you can join me to use 2 of my favourite office supply tools, a stapler and a hole punch, to make some more stamps for the gel plate. See you next time. And in the second project, we're going to be doing a collograph plate. In the next video, I'll be using 2 of my favourite office